Hi, hello, my name is Ollie Bliss and this is my channel Bookdraw. For those who don't know, I enjoy looking at queer fiction and occasionally, like today, I do a little artwork of some of the books which I'm interested in exploring. And it has been a while since I've done one of these, but that's because I've just been doing lots of other fun and exciting things. But this was part of three different videos which I want to be doing. And this is the second one where I'm looking at claim voices. So the first one I did was JT Leroy looking at Sarah. Please check that video out as well. And later on I will be doing Moby Dick. But with this one, this is Orson Scott Card's book, Song Master. Now, some of you might be aware of his name, some of you may not. You might be aware of Ender's Game, the movie. He did that. And this is a separate book which he did in some sort of bizarre challenge to himself where he wanted to prove that he could write in any voice and he could adopt any kind of voice. That's the sense that I get from reading different articles. I should start by saying this video is going to be very spoilery because I am going to be talking about the outcomes of the book and what goes down, partly because it is kind of essential to some of the things which I want to discuss in this video. So if you've not read the book and want to, please just turn me off and let's have a chat later because I'm sure you'll want to talk about it. Because actually, all credit to him, I thoroughly enjoyed this read as much as there are parts which I had issue with, which I'm not really going to go into. I just really wanted to explore this kind of outcome at the end of the book. So I should probably just give you a very quick insight, and I will do a full book review of this later. But this is basically featuring a young singer called Ansset, and he is raised in in the isolation of the songhouse. So he has this kind of talent and ability to sing and express himself to his audience using and magnifying his emotions and others' emotions, and his voice can be used to heal or destroy. And he's basically trained up for this sole purpose, and he's kind of got limitations to what he can and can't do, and he's in a very controlled environment. And that's in essence the main kind of thing that you need to know. He's very desirable because he's young, he's beautiful, and he's got this particular talent. So that's the kind of premise to what goes on in this particular universe. But in this scene, which is right towards the end of the book, so again, like reiterating, if you don't want to know the ending towards this book, do not go any further. But I'm going in. I'm going all in with this. Okay, so that was your final warning. Right. So he has, as he's been growing up, he had to learn this thing called control. And control and resilience is a big theme throughout the book in terms of him being able to hold it together and uh, not be emotive in any way. If you kind of think of Spock, he's a bit like that, where he has to keep it inside. And he, right from an early age, he is shown a dam, and there is this like small release of water, and it's used as a metaphor and a device to show him how he can control his voice. So he stores all his emotions and his feelings and experiences inside himself, and when the time comes, he can draw it out and magnify and amplify all the richness and the depth of that feeling. And it has this incredible ability to just resonate with people on all sorts of frequencies. It's like empathy amplified, basically. Um, but so there's like all sort of superheroes. There's some things that he can't do, and one of them is he can't have sex. So he's got, it's all again linked to the control and his innocence and everything else. So there is that. But he's now 17. He's had an ongoing relationship with this girl who he likes quite a lot, but then there is this guy called Josif who he really gets into. And he knows that he shouldn't, and it's wrong, and he has to like restrain himself. But that boy, oh, there's just something about him, and he gets to the point where it's like, will they, won't they? And um, uh, he has desire, and he actually, it's more that it's coming from Ansett, who's saying, why are you at war with yourself, to Josif, and he's like, I want things that I do not want to want. Please leave me. And he's like trying to hold him back and stuff. But then it gets to a point where Ansett says, I know what you want, and I am willing." And that's like, okay, gloves off. We're making this happen. And then and there's this lovely line where he says, "And the war in Joseph's face, and the voice ended, and he surrendered." And then it goes into some really like really delicate, sincere narrative in terms of them having this one wonderful moment together. But as he is about to climax, he experiences this incredible pain everywhere, and it's like it's ripping him apart. um, and instead of having this gift that he's supposed to have from his lover, he is just like messed up. He is royally destroyed inside, and he in fact is going to be made permanently impotent by this experience, and any kind of like arousal will cause him pain. That is the consequence of having sex between same-sex people. So yeah, there is that as a consequence. Which I was like, I even have like this. I read this a couple of years ago, and I'm looking down at what I actually wrote, and I actually put WTF question mark when I was reading that part because it shocked me so much. But if that wasn't enough, it gets worse, people. Oh yes, it gets worse. As punishment, because they think that Joseph actually tried to attack or abuse Ansett. They decide to chop his stuff off, and uh, that happens without his knowledge. And if that's not going to send you over the edge, I don't know what will. But that basically completely and utterly destroys him. And there's a line again that says, his face was terrible, not because the emotion on it, but because there was nothing in his face at all. He is rock bottom, people. He is totally lost and angry, and deservedly angry. But so there are these people who have instigated this to happen, and he acts in this very violent way, and goes off and finds the people who made this happen, and um, the vengeance and hatred basically takes over him, and his barrier and dam that he has been trained for is destroyed in the process, and this incredible song comes out of him, and it's like torture for everybody else in the room, and they're rolling around in pain, and they are scratching their, at their own face, and they're raking into themselves to try and pull this horrible sound away from them. And it gets to the point where one guy actually rips out his bowels from inside him, and manages to start releasing the pressure in that way, and then gets to the point where he's rips out his own heart just to stop all the feels. So that's what happens, and this is that scene. So I hope that you enjoy the sheer darkness of this particular scene, and I will be talking in much more detail in my review about what I think that all means. And I had to find a series of different screens from different places to get the right level of um, distraught feeling whilst trying to make it musical. So I also added in there some choir music as well, but also a video artist. There's a snapshot of her in this video, but I'll add links down below to where those different sources were from, particularly that video art, because it is spectacular. It's about a 9-minute long video, but I highly recommend watching that with earphones on. And for this, you should also put earphones on before playing the last little animation. Anyway, I will see you real soon with the full review. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy this as a little response to Orson Scott Card's Song Master. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment on my twistedness in this. I won't take offense, I promise. And let me know your thoughts. Okay, see you soon. Bye.